What's up guys, so today's video I'm going to show you how to do an oil change on a Lotus Evora 400. Now with this car, the oil change is pretty simple because obviously everyone knows that this is a Toyota engine with just a supercharger. It's a 2GR-FE, which is you can find in most Toyotas like a Camry. That's what a bunch of people associate with. But yeah, fairly easy. It's a very cramped space because it's a mid-engine. You can see the dipstick is back here, then the oil fill is here, it's a pretty tight area, but it works. And the only thing is that you have to take out the diffuser at the bottom, which is kind of a bit annoying too, but again, it's all functional, which really helps. And the only thing that makes it difficult is you got to buy specialty tools, which again, with any job, if you have the tool, it makes it so much easier to do. So just buy the tools if you have these kind of cars. But yeah, we gotta go get the oil filter. The best part is you get the oil filters at a Toyota dealership. So get the oil filter and the crush washer. And then the oil, we just go to AutoZone, get some 0W40. And pretty simple, I just use Mobil one because this car, this person doesn't really drive it, so we change it like every 1,500 miles. So yeah, let me show you the owner's manual. So here's the owner's manual. You can see that it takes 0W40 right there. Normally it would recommend Petronas, but we don't have that. So anything with the API-SN rating is good enough, which Mobil 1 is. And here's the capacity. It takes 5.75 liters or 6.08 quarts. And this does have oil coolers, so there will be oil that can't be drained within the lines and the heat exchanger of the oil cooler itself. So normally I would just get 6 quarts, which is one of the big quart gallons, which is 5 gallons. And then one small one, which is 6, because 0.08 is not that much, and there should be more than 0.08 in the lines, which should be more than enough for you. And if anything happens, you can just fill up again with more oil. But 6 quarts should be enough because of the additional oil in the lines. But yeah, let's get to it. All right guys, at the Toyota dealership in Honda. But yeah, let's go get the oil filter and the crush washer, and hopefully it's cheap. It's got the new filter and the crush washer. It does use a paper one, not a metal one, but it's okay. They do sell a TRD one, which I was gonna buy, but I bought this one. This is just the regular one. It's more expensive than the Honda one that we did the oil change before. This one with the crush washer is $14.79 compared to the Hondas, which is like $10. But it's okay. Wasn't gonna do the TRD one because the intervals are about 1,500, so there's really no point in spending that much, even though you're gonna change the oil filter and the oil anyway. So this should be due, and now we're gonna go to AutoZone and get the oil. Okay guys, I got the parts, Toyota oil filter and the crush washer, and I bought the oil. They only had they didn't have the 1 quart one, so I just bought the 5 quarts one. And if I need more, I'll fill it again, because this car has an oil cooler, which you have to check, so you can't drain out all the oil, so that's why. But yeah, 0W40 European oil. Technically it isn't a European engine, but it kind of is, because car, but it doesn't matter. We're gonna change it pretty frequently, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, if you do just get 6 quarts, I only bought 5, but this one costs $14.79 and this one costs $32.99, and an additional 1 quart would be $9.99. So not that expensive for a Toyota engine, so pretty good. So right now I only have the car on ramps because this car does not have any pinch welds. So you can see right here. So if you put a jack here, it might be pretty wobbly. So you need like a quick jack where it has a flat surface, or pretty much a lift. So so far I haven't seen anyone do a pretty safe way of doing it with any jacks. So I'm just gonna use the ramp. Obviously there's still gonna be oil within the oil cooler, so it doesn't really matter. At least we drain as much oil as we can, and the oil kind of drain plug is fairly like straight down, so this should be more than enough because I've done it before and this works perfectly. So with any oil change, the first thing I like to do is kind of remove the dipstick. It's right there. That's the thing about mid-engines, pretty hard to get to stuff, but yeah, just leave it popped up like that. And then the engine fill is right here. I'll show you guys right there. I'm not sure if I tightened this pretty tight, but let's see. Yeah, I've tightened this one tight. Oh, no, never mind. It's pretty... Nothing special, just a plastic one. But look how amazing Lotus does. They mark every single bolt, man. This is sick. All right, time to go under the car. Next thing we're gonna do is take off the diffuser. Normally a diffuser would be pretty annoying, but since this is pretty functional, bear with it, because the entire car has an flat underfloor, so this is pretty sick. But yeah, tools you're gonna need is a 10 mil and one of these Allen or a hex set, which I'm not sure which one it is, but it's these kinds right here. Not sure which size, but I'll play with it. But yeah, make sure you get one of these. It's very helpful. And a 10 mil. It should be 9 of the 10 mils and about 2 of these. So yeah, I'll show you guys how to do it. All right, so everything you see in black is the diffuser. So we're just gonna take first off these 5 bolts right here. And I like to leave the middle one loose but still on, just in case at the very end I take this one off and pull everything off. So, and it shouldn't be really tight, it should be all hand tight. And with these cars, try not to use electric tools, just do it by hand so you don't strip anything, because there's no need to. Alright, I lied. I totally forgot. I thought I was doing an exhaust install. We're taking this one off, not the diffuser. You could take the diffuser off, which makes it much easier, but you're gonna need to take off this plate, which the engine is literally right here. So you gotta take off these bolts, which I'll show you after I take this one off. So same 10 mil, you just gotta take these ones. Better watch out for the spacer because it might come off right here. So be careful of that, but just be aware of where the spacers are, which should be here. And then you just gotta take these off, and this whole underside can come off. And it's separate from this diffuser, so you don't have to take out the diffuser if you want to, but doesn't need to. But it's pretty cool. It has some NACA ducts for cooling the engine. The header's right here, the flex pipe, and then it goes down to the muffler right here. So yeah, let me take all these off and then I'll get back to you guys again. So you also want to make note of which bolt you use. The one without it has a shoulder and then threads are on this one right here. Then the edge one right here is just fully threaded. So make sure you account which one it is, because you want to mess it up. And the ones back here also have a shoulder and then thread inside. Okay, so this whole under tray took a bit longer, but it's okay. So for these bolts right here, it uses a smaller one like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I also took out the diffuser to make it a bit more easier, but not really necessary. But this also another one is 2 on the sides right here. Then you have still stuck here, but these bolts with all thread. It comes with a spacer here. Make sure you have another spacer here. I'm pretty sure it's stuck up there. Then you have one with a collar. It's right here. And then one with just threads right here. And then all these, it doesn't really come off, so this one should be right here like that. Anything with these spacers should have a collar like this, and all those 5s right there. So yeah, pretty annoying but very effective. Okay, so now we go under the car. Just some visual stuff. This is the exhaust right here. It flows up here, back here to the muffler. The muffler is all valves, so if you go here, close the valves, it'll go through the muffler. If not, it'll bypass it, but it still goes through the muffler, but bypasses the chambers. Up to here, there's usually a 3rd catalytic converter in the US, but we got the GRP one. We had to weld it because it didn't really fit, but still regards a good pipe. Flows all the way back to the headers, splits into two bolt headers, and it has another set of catalytic converters, and that's pretty much it. So here is the engine oil drain right here. Fairly easy. And then the oil filter is right here, which uses a special tool. It's a cartridge style, so you don't have to replace the entire oil filter, you just need to replace the filter. But yeah, good thing it's angled this way, so we just shoot it down. Okay, so to loosen this drain bolt, you're gonna need a 14mm socket. I already broke it with a hammer, so it's pretty simple to go. Now all I gotta do is you gotta drain it now. So let me pull the oil pan here and then we can start draining. So I got my measurement here. Hopefully it drains pretty easily. I gotta get my quick release. Before I did the Honda one, oof, that shit was clean. Nothing happened, so hopefully this one is clean. I forget if this one has a lot of threads or not, but it's all or nothing. Oh, here it comes. Ready? 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 Oh my god, it's coming. Ready? Come on. Woo! That's a clean one. Nothing dripping outside, just a little bit on the finger. But yeah, this oil looks very clean. Very nice. And it would be ideal to have the car leveled for it to flow out better, but gotta work what we gotta do. So yeah, I'm gonna let this drain out and then we'll get back to the oil filter. But wow, oil's clean. Yeah, this might take a while. It's a lot of oil, and plus it has an oil cooler, so you know, I'm not all of it's gonna drain out. But yeah, oil looks very clean. No grime or nothing. Very clean oil. So something I'm gonna do that I kind of did last time was, since it's not draining that much, I'm gonna put a jack under right here and try to lower the car to see if more oil can come out. Just try to get as much oil out as possible, even though this one only has like less than 2,000 miles. So, but still I'm trying to get all the oil out to get brand new oil, because it's kind of struggling to drop it off because it's more of this tip now instead of straining down like that way. So yeah, let me get the jack right now. I got the jack under the car. So gonna take off these ramps so I can lower the car, and then we will see if more oil will drown down or not. So slowly lowering the car, and there is more oil coming out now, which is good. Oh yeah, you can see more oil coming out. Okay, I can lower the car too much because it's so low that it might crush the little oil pan. So I'm gonna leave it like that, let it drain more until it starts dripping. Then I'll pump it up and get back to the oil filter. So the oil drain is now done draining. So now we're gonna use the oil filter. So you're gonna need a special tool, which is this one right here. It has these little things right here. But it's pretty much a Toyota filter for V6s, so make sure you get that. I got it from AutoZone, which is pretty cheap. You're gonna need an extension and a breaker bar. You can go directly from the breaker bar to a 1/2 inch in here, or you can use a 21 millimeter, which fits perfectly here if you don't have an extension. But yeah, I recommend getting an extension because it's a bit high up in there and you need to have some space to use your breaker bar. So either you go directly into this or use this. Sometimes this might get stuck, but this might get stuck as well because you might like slip all the way through. So just do whatever works for you and hopefully it works. So let me show you where to put the little filter wrench. It has 3 slots. I like to put it in the middle, and you can slide it in right there. It might fall off, but you get the deal. Then you put your extension or your 21 millimeter socket. Then you could use your breaker bar and turn it counterclockwise. So, and that will bring this entire metal cartridge out right here. Don't do right here because this is a separate thing that you need to do after. It's kind of like a bypass valve or a spring retainer. So don't put a extension here because you're gonna be twisting this cap off and knock the entire filter off. Okay, once it's broken off, you can either do it by hand or have a little 1/2 inch ratchet. I like to just do it by hand, which is pretty much almost gonna come off right now. But yeah, the seals are pretty good on this, so it has some resistance. Yeah, it's almost, once it's almost come off, you can take off this so you don't get it dirty. And see the oil is already dripping already. You can use the cup method or just literally just take it out, which is what I'm gonna do because it doesn't really matter anymore. I'm gonna clean it off anyways. Yeah, oof. Yep, got it over my hands, but not on the floor, so that's a good thing. But again, let this drain and then I'll clean myself off. Juice. Okay, so while I let the oil filter drain, I'm gonna attempt to try to remove this drain plug crush washer. It's a plastic one or a composite one, which isn't a metal one, which surprising, these ones always stick. The metal ones come off a bit easier. They sometimes still stick, but they come off easier. This one takes pretty hard to get off, so sometimes you gotta work through it. I think last time I just left this one on and no leaks, but this thing is really annoying to take off. I torque it to spec, so it shouldn't be this hard to get off, but yeah. My last resort is to get a flathead to do it, but right now I'm gonna try not to. I think I have my 3D printer has like a scraper, which I'm gonna try, so let me get that and hopefully this will come off. Okay, got this little spatula tool that I use for my 3D printer. It won't scrape that much, so don't worry about it. But yeah, this seems way too sketch. What if it just pops out and hit me? Yeah. Okay, just let me play with this and I'll get back to you guys if I find a resolution or not. So I used that little spatula right there to take it off. It sort of took it off. The new one looks like there's a bit of a double stack with the blue and the white, but there's some blue residue on it. I'll show you guys right now. There's a bit left, but this should be, it's okay. I could scrape this off or whatnot, but it's flat enough where I can take it because the lip is a part of the oil pan, not this entire thing. So you can see right there, the little speck. I'll just try to remove this part. If not, it's okay. Just leave it there and then use a new one because that's what a crush washer is for. Fills in the gaps so there's no leaks. So for the new crush washer, you're gonna take it. Pretty simple. I just put it on it. New one. And it's a 14 millimeter, and from Toyota they say 30 foot-pounds for the 3.5 liter V6, so that's the same one as this one, 2GR-FE. And let's put this back onto the oil pan. Okay, so I try to clean the surface as much as I can, but probably don't want to do anything with it. So you're gonna take the drain bolt. I like to twist it to the left and then twist it to the right to make sure that it seats in properly. And try to center your crush washer as well while you put it in. It should go in very easily. If you have difficulty, that means that you probably cross-threaded it and you fucked up. So take that back out. All right, tighten by hand. Now I gotta take the torque wrench, 30 foot-pounds. Oh, I should remove this back out to have more space. Yeah. Here's a click. Nope. You want to click? Go. One more from a double measure. That's it. And should be leak free now. Now with the oil filter, to make it an easier install, if you want to follow Toyota instead of doing what I just did, you can do exactly what they did. So they supply with this thing where you can drain the oil out from the oil filter like that, then take off the cap to make it much easier so you don't have to spill it everywhere. But I just took it out because I'm dumb, so I didn't read this instructions. But you can do that, it doesn't really matter. It just makes it less messy, but you're gonna take that cap either way anyway. So here's the oil filter like this. You wanna remove this piece. And I like these kind of cartridge style because you don't have to waste metal and you just replace the paper filter like this. So, and this isn't the TRD one, which isn't really necessary if you want to get it or not. But yeah, that's the old filter right there. Then we gotta take out this piece, which you can just use, I believe it's a 3/8, which is pretty simple to use. Let me get that tool. Oh, my hands are dirty. Okay. Should be 3/8. Yep, 3/8. Then just turn it and you can pop this out. Okay, this thing is very annoying to do. I'm not sure how I did it back then, but you can see how it kind of bent the 3/8, but I got a breaker bar and broke it on the vise. I put it at these edges here and just broke on the vise. If you don't want to do that, do what Toyota says, do it when it's really capped on. I did that, but it didn't really work, so I put on the vise. But do this before you remove the entire can of the filter, and then you can take off this thing right here, which also houses an O-ring. So make sure you have to do this, okay? Yeah, this is pretty annoying to do, but that's the only hiccup today. But you can see right there, that's the O-ring, and then the bypass. There's a spring loader right here. So yeah, take this one off, then take this O-ring off, and then you could put the brand new ones from this filter. Got the old rings off. If you have a difficulty, Toyota makes it pretty easy where they have some slits right here. You can pop it like that, and here where you can pop it in this way. Take off the O-rings. So yeah, still brand new because very low mileage on it. The filter still looks good. It's just soaked in oil. That's why it looks this color. But yeah, take these parts off. It comes with this. Make sure you do this to drain it off from the bypass valve before you take off the filter. New O-rings. This is what the new filter looks like. Of course, it's not soaked in oil, so that's why there's a big difference. But this is not dirty at all. So good thing there's no like metal contaminants in it. But yeah, just follow the Toyota's procedure. But it's fairly simple, just reversing everything. And then this one also has a torque spec, which is 9.5 foot-pounds or 12.5 newton meters. It's a plus or minus 2, so I would just strive for 9.5, just to stay in the middle. And you can either do this right now or when you tighten this piece right here. I would tighten this and then do this piece right here, but you just want to loosen in this one, tighten by hand with a 3/8. All right, so now that I got the new O-rings on, you want to lubricate it. So just get some, well, clean your hands first with your new glove. Get some new oil. Lubricate the O-ring here at the bottom. You should lube it up really good. Then you want to lubricate the O-ring on the side. That mates it to the filter, the engine. You can do a little bit, do a lot, doesn't matter. Just make sure that the O-ring is lubricated so that it seals it really good. That should be more than enough. And now we're gonna pour some oil inside the filter to kind of pre-charge it. But let me do it with the camera not on. All right, poured some oil in there, not too much, but just enough where it could have enough when it starts the engine. You can see that it's not full all the way. All right, so got everything lubed up. Oh, I should have put this on first before I did that. Probably spilling out here. Nope, okay. That's good. I should put this back on. Just thread it a little bit, and then we can screw this back onto the car. Okay, we are back underneath the car. You want to put the filter back in. Turn it to the left, then turn it to the right. Oops, I felt that. Let me do it again. There you go. Should go in fairly easily. And I threaded this just by hand. It's a very uncomfortable spot, but yeah. I want to twist it. Good thing we lubed up the O-rings to make it seal good. Just tighten this by hand. Oh man. Okay. And if you're wondering what the torque specs are, it says right there. 25 newton meters plus or minus 3. So we'll torque this and then we can torque this, which the torque specs are on the little the box that comes with the filter. All right, so the oil filter, the torque specs on the oil filter housing says 25 newton meters plus or minus 3. So in foot-pounds, that is around 18.4. So I just rounded to 19. So you could do whichever one reach range, but I'm just gonna round it to 19 foot-pounds, and then I'll torque this right now. All right, so we successfully torqued down the oil filter housing. It's very little. Once you get it tight and then you turn it again, it already clicks already. So that's when you do 19 foot-pounds. And now we're gonna do this small little cap right here, which says 9.5 plus or minus 2. I'm just gonna round it to 10. So that would be within the ±2 range. And just torque it down and we should all be good to go to fill with oil. Okay, so it's time to fill this thing with some oil. You're gonna need a really long funnel to fill it with oil because it's a very tight spot. Trust me, don't do it without getting this because it's very difficult to do. Just like that. Or you get it like this, pretty much. Just like this. Fill it up and then it goes to right there. So let me pour some oil in. And then the oil, I'm just gonna use all of this and then I'll check it again because this should be more than enough. If not more than enough, it should be a little under than what I need. So this should be, yeah, just pour all of this and let's try to check the dipstick after I level the car, after it's off the ramps. Okay, so we pretty much put all the oil from that 5-quart part. Let me take this out. Okay, and make sure you put back your dipstick. You don't want oil squirting out there. Put dipstick back in, put the oil cap back in. Very tight area. Make sure this piece is tight so you don't want any oil squirting out. And then I'm gonna start the car seat, check for any leaks. And if not, we'll put it down, actually put everything under the car back, level the car, let it sit for a while, then check the oil. Okay, so no leaks. So now the worst part is just to put everything back and level the car. Man, oh man, this thing is really annoying to get because of these little spacers that Lotus use, which are not fixed, so they play around and they literally just fall around. It's really annoying. So what I recommend you to do is, you can't really see, but make sure that this piece goes within that flap first on both sides, and then you put the bolts. If you don't, then this flap will overlap and you can't really bolt it down. So make sure you do that. Yeah, there's a bunch of spacers out here that just fly around, which is really annoying, but finally got it. And now the diffuser is much easier to do. So that's the only thing about these kind of cars, which it looks fairly easy. It's just a bunch of steps that are pretty annoying, but this is really helpful for the car, so I'm okay with it. I finally got everything, the under tray all back on. Now I'm trying to lower this car and then check the oil again. But then I'm gonna go buy AutoZone and get the last quart just in case I need it, so I can check the oil and see if I'm a little over or under. Okay, I bought the extra bottle, a quart of oil, because I checked the dipstick and it's a bit, it's at the low spot, but it's not enough. So I'm just gonna add some more, probably half of this to see how much it goes up. So I ended up using a little more than half of the bottle, which is, it varies depending on how you drained it, but that's how much I use. So 5 quarts, and so 5.5 quarts technically, a little bit more than 5.5 quarts. But yeah, pretty simple to do. It's just very tedious and a very tight place to work in. So if you want to save money instead of going to dealership, I recommend you doing it by yourself. You should do more frequent oil changes if you go at higher RPMs. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're driving your dream car.